Hello and welcome everybody to another installment of the Gunner's Voice podcast. With me, your host Shannon, and I'm accompanied by my main man Dane, making his return to the podcast. Obviously, Dane is actually looking at more of a regular now. Obviously, before we get into today's video, guys, very important. Please make sure you hit that like button, hit the comment section, and most importantly, subscribe and turn on notification bell, guys. Every single like, comment, interaction, subscription, it helps. It goes a long way. It helps boost the channel, guys, and obviously gets us more content for you. So, without further ado, Dane, how you doing, brother?
I'm good. Sorry we were a little bit late because I was playing soccer, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. I haven't played for a while on Thursday night.
Hmm.
We actually played the cup final, but we lost, unfortunately. So got a silver medal, yeah.
Hopefully, that's not an omen
So
for
that
the
was
rest of
fun.
the season. Hopefully,
Yeah, so it was
yours.
fun.
Hopefully, your silver medal is the only one that will be around an Arsenal shirt this season.
Yes, no, I won gold from Arsenal. No
Yeah,
runners
bro.
up. Are you
Yeah, hundred
feeling better?
percent.
I know you were sick.
Yeah, bro. I'm actually still got some ginger tea here, so I'm still like in the end of the recovery road, but I'm there basically. Yeah, I had a very bad chest infection, bro. I don't know. Yeah, I work in a gym, and it gets in the gym, so yeah, it's a bit
Yeah,
hectic. But Arsenal have definitely helped me feel a lot better over the past couple days. I think we spoke actually pre Atalanta. That was the last time you and I spoke, and it's been like 3 games since. Arsenal are still undefeated. Let's talk a bit about last night's game in particular. We saw Arsenal really come out of the shell in a sense. Get a big win yesterday, 5-1 at home against Bolton. Obviously, they are a League One side. We did make quite a few changes. Had some youngsters, had some experience, which I think was the perfect kind of blend for this kind of tie. And I think this is maybe how you approach the tournament. You know, Dane, bro, just your thoughts. What did you think on about Arsenal's performance as a whole yesterday against Bolton?
it was such a relief after the drama and intensity of the last two games. Well, I'd say the last few games because it was Brighton that was intense. Then you had the London Derby, which was intense. Atalanta away was also a tough game, and then Man City away was a really tough game. So it was nice to just have a game at home again, 11 versus 11, um, and then seeing all the young guys doing well. So yeah, it was a pleasure. It was like everything you would have hoped for. Sorry, everything you would have hoped for. So it was like a real like answer to prayer.
100%. I think, like you said there, it's been a while since we've actually seen Arsenal play at the Emirates. I think the last game we had at home was against Brighton, incidentally. Obviously, like you said, down to 10 men then, and obviously in a whole different position. I think at that time, even just a week afterwards at the international break, there was this very dark cloud hanging out over Arsenal. It was okay. We just dropped points against Brighton. Odegaard got injured. We had the North London derby coming up and whatnot. And now looking back, like 2 weeks, or looking now 2 weeks ahead, the entire fan base is probably as united as I've seen it in such a long time. Especially after the City game, everybody had that siege mentality. Whether you Ateta in, Ateta out, it's like if you're coming for Arsenal, like I'm an Arsenal fan before I'm an Ateta, out. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
look, yesterday's game for me was also really good in particular for the youngsters. That a lot of fans have been crying out for, especially since preseason. Miles Lewis Kelly, Ethan Nwaneri, and I think both of them yesterday had very, very good games. I think unfortunately for Miles, he went off injured. Hopefully, it's not too serious. But like I said, we're looking at Arteta finally, literally, like I say, trusting the youth more. For a lot of people have criticized Arteta for that, and I just want to find out your thoughts in particular, bro, about the young players yesterday. Let's talk about Ethan Nwaneri and Miles Lewis Kelly. How impressed were you with their performances yesterday?
Sorry. Let me just sneeze again. I just want to get something to blow my nose. Sorry about that.
Oh, no stress, brother. Let me keep it going. So I'll just keep talking to the viewers and just say
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Let's see if there's any
the
comments.
yeah, we've got one comment actually from a Liverpool. We've got Justin here. I'm actually in a group chat with him. Just thanks for the comment, my brother. He
Oh,
says you
okay.
never walk alone. He's in the building. Look, I don't really have too much beef with Liverpool fans, to be honest. I think I tolerate them more than like United and Spurs. But I think we always have good games against Liverpool. So Justin, I'm hoping to have you on the Toxic Show before the Arsenal Liverpool game, maybe even on this podcast. It's not necessarily only for Arsenal fans. I mean, if it's
Yeah.
teams involving, definitely.
Before the Liverpool game, maybe
Yeah,
you can have him on,
yeah,
because it's at the end of the
yeah,
month.
that's right. 100%, bro. That's what I'm thinking as well. And then we obviously take it from there. But yes, then back to the question I had at hand for you.
Yes, back to the
Your thoughts
question. Yeah, Ethan was great. I mean, he was combining with Saka and Nichols on the right there so nicely. It was really special to see. He looked so comfortable on the ball. Yeah, he was just combining with play. He was also shielding the ball well. He was physical. He looked natural. He just looked calm and natural. And the same with Miles Skilly. I mean, his line breaking pass for I think it was the second or the third goal. I can't remember. That set up Sterling,
Sterling?
which,
Okay, the
yeah,
second
that put
goal.
Sterling through, and then oh yeah, it was the second goal. So Nwaneri's goal. So that was an amazing line breaking pass from Miles. It's interesting how many left backs we already had this season. It's quite crazy.
100%.
Last year there was a lot of left backs, and now we've got whole bunch of other left backs. I actually saw someone make a joke team with a whole bunch of left backs, because Kai Havertz has also played left back in his career. Saka's a left back. Um, Trossard has played left wing back in some times of his career. So this guy made it like a team from like 9 left backs and that could possibly play for Arsenal. It was quite funny. Anyway, but yeah, that's off topic. Miles was great. He's also like so physical for someone who's so small. I think he really protects the ball well. So they did amazing. Even Nichols did well. He set up. I don't know if he got that assist for the first goal, because it did ricochet off someone else. But basically, he started that movement towards the goal. So yeah, he did well. I mean, he did well in preseason, and so did the other two in preseason. So it's nice to see their preseason continuing, and seeing some other youngsters that we didn't see in preseason, especially special for Porter getting a. He's as old as Tottenham have not got a trophy. That's how old Jack Porter is.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Look, I have to agree with you. Like in terms of your assessment on Ethan and your assessment on Miles, I think for me, Ethan had a really good game. Obviously, got the goals, but I was way more impressed with Miles. I think Miles was super involved in the build-up. He touched the ball a lot. He was really on the ball. He was interchanging with Jorginho, in terms of with the ball with Rice. You could see that they really trust him. And we've been screaming out like for a left eight in midfield. And I just think that look, he is young, but the boy does look ready. Like I somehow like feel a lot more confident with him than I did with Fabio Vieira. Like he's like you said, he's physical for his size. He's technically assured. He doesn't really let go of the ball. He's not sloppy. And then what I also liked about Ethan's performance yesterday is that he kind of linked play in the way Odegaard does. Like that's why there was so much joy down that right hand side. Nichols it was literally like we had like for like. Nichols overlapped well like Ben White does, and Ethan just found himself in good pockets of space like Odegaard does. And I think that's why we saw Saka have a lively game yesterday. Maybe obviously
Mm.
against City, those two boys they don't play. Obviously, I mean they're both quite inexperienced. Nichols probably less. I mean more so than Ethan Nwaneri in terms of experience. But I'm just thinking about going, like, looking forward to the Leicester game, and obviously that's what we can look forward to. I wouldn't be surprised if Arteta gave them minutes. I'm not necessarily saying they start, but I think you know 15 minutes here of each of them. I don't think that does anything for the confidence, especially if you're in a winning position. I'm not saying now, but it even depends on the game state. You might need a goal, and Ethan might be the player to unlock a stubborn low block. So Miles might as well with these in between the line passing. So I think what I enjoyed the most about the youngsters yesterday is that you can see the Arteta Arsenal DNA there. They they seamlessly got into that team. It didn't look like we made as many changes as we did yesterday. Um, so that was something that I was really impressed with. I want to speak to you also about someone that deserves to be spoken about as well. Raheem Sterling, on loan from
Yes.
Chelsea, a lot of pressure. A lot of eyes on him. First start for Arsenal and caps it off with I think is a goal and 2 assists. You know,
Yeah.
that's
No, one assist, I think.
that's was it one. I think might be 1 assist. I think I saw somewhere that said 1 goal, 2 assists. But I think the assist they're trying to give us for the Havertz goal, which I don't think you can really give. Um, but regardless,
Yeah,
I think Sterling had
he
a really
played
good
well.
game. I think he grew into the game. Just your thoughts on Sterling, bro. Do you think he might be a pivotal player for us this season, or you think you didn't see enough yesterday to formulate a proper opinion?
Look, I mean, I think obviously the context is Bolton are in the third tier and they are 18th in that third tier, so they're not a very good team. So we should have beat them by a lot, even with the second string team. I mean, they made two sloppy passes for two of our goals, so we should have beaten them, but they also let us beat them by more, just as context. And a player like Sterling should be ripping apart a Bolton. So I haven't been as impressed with him uh, when he played against Spurs and when he played against City, or was it Atalanta that he played? I can't remember. But obviously, City was a horrible game to judge anyone by. I mean, with the way we were playing uh, 6-3-0 formation. So it was quite hectic. Anyway, but Sterling, going back to the game last night, really played well. He was lively. He was having good movement. He also, one of the things that's always been good about Sterling is he pops up in the box and people have called him a tap-in merchant, but we need a tap-in merchant. We need someone who's in the box and
Can
knows
score.
how to move and can score easy goals, because we create a lot of cutback goals. We create a lot of. There's always the problem with Jesus and Havertz is they sometimes aren't in the box. So Havertz has been doing better with that lately. He's been popping up in the right areas. Um, yeah, no, thanks, Justin. We are passionate. I've been supporting since '98, so it's like time to see things happen again, and it's really exciting to see us doing well and being unbeaten for the beginning of the season with all the challenges that we've had. I think
Mm.
it's really it's been a testament to our character. It's been a testament to the squad that we've now got a deeper squad. I think there's more players that Arteta trusts now with Sterling coming in as well. There's definitely a chance for Saka to get rested on the right. I would even play Trossard on the right sometimes because I looked at Trossard's goals the other day. He scored 10 goals with his left and 10 goals with his right. So he could
So he's
cut off,
either
he could
or.
cut back onto his left foot and shoot on his left foot as well.
Mm.
So I've been calling out for Trossard on the right wing for a long time now, but he hasn't played there. But yeah, we got to see who does better there. Sterling actually also gets more crosses in when he plays on the right wing, obviously because it's on his right foot.
Yeah, on a
But
stronger
then
foot, you can just obviously
scores,
drive it down.
yeah. But the stats is that his goals per minute ratio is better when he plays centre forward. So it's quite interesting. As a false nine, he actually gets better goals because he's obviously in the centre and he's going to be scoring goals.
Yes.
So
Look,
he's a very interesting person because he can play all across the front line. He's like Trossard. So I
mm,
think we've got two real gems there.
100%. Dane, obviously speaking about Sterling, in terms of, like you're saying, what he adds to our front line in terms of versatility, should I rather say, is that you have, fans are complaining that Arteta let go of Nelson, Nketiah, Smith Rowe and Vieira and didn't replace them. But if you look at it really, you got Sterling that replaces Nketiah and Truss and Nelson across that front line. And then you got Nwaneri that replaces Smith Rowe, and then, in my opinion, Miles Lewis Skelly that replaces Vieira. I think, like you said it there. Those are Sterling, Nwaneri, and Miles Lewis Skelly. Clearly, are three players that Teta trusts more than the four that he let go. So I think as a squad where we are now, I think it's reflective of the game we saw yesterday. I think we have a good squad, and I said it earlier in the season. I know a lot of fans are complaining about our window, and I gave our window, in our first, our first podcast together on the Gunacast SA, when I said I'm going to give the window a lot higher rating than what most fans do, because I see what Ateta and Edu are trying to do. You know, they probably, like Liverpool did. Liverpool, when they went on to win the league, they only made one signing that season. That was Adrian, their backup goalkeeper. So I think with Arteta, yes, he let go of players and there was quite a few changes, but I don't think he wanted to completely disrupt what he had already established. And look, it's only 5 games into the season, but we are unbeaten, and you are starting to see the fruits of the window, in my opinion, because I mean, look at it yesterday. Miles Lewis Kelly gets a pre-assist for if you want to call it that, for Nwaneri's goal. Nwaneri gets 2 goals. Sterling gets a goal and an assist. Those are all players that Teta's brought in this season for minutes, and they've already played him back in all of their first starts. Do you know what I'm saying? Like last season, we were crying
Yeah,
for Vieira and Smith Rowe to take their chances, but they really never did. Nelson never took his chances. In Ketia, look, he had his moments, but I think it was a bit more difficult for him, considering what we were facing last season. But look, like I said, that's the Bolton game. I think we were quite ruthless yesterday. I think that's what, and it's another thing that it shows that we can switch it up. People said that we had the dark arts, Arsenal dark arts, which we obviously move on to shortly. Arsenal coming with their dark arts, but then again, it just shows how quickly. Yes, it was Bolton, but we were able to switch our game plan completely,
Yeah,
and then get the 5 goals.
yeah.
So
No, I'm
just
very
good.
confident that we're going to do well against Leicester and Southampton and get a good amount of goals. I'm not stressed
I think
about
so.
the way we've started the season and our XG being low and our possession stats being low. We've had to play with 10 men in 40% of our games. So
Mm,
it's in the Premier League. So it's going to mean our possession stats are going to be low. And Spurs has got the highest position, had the highest position in the league last year, actually had higher than Man City, which surprised me. So Spurs were also going to have more possession than us, and they don't know what to
okay.
do with the possession. So when we have possession, we know what to do with it. We make it hurt. We make them hurt. So yeah, I'm not stressed about the start to the season. And but last night was just fun. I think we needed just a fun, easygoing, express yourself game because we've had a lot of stressful defend for your life games. So I think it
Mm.
was a nice break in kind of the intensity.
Yeah, no, I have to agree. Like you said, um, because of the change competition, the being back at home, I think it just a lot of it played into our favor. If a lot of fans are complaining about Saka getting minutes, but I think Saka had to get those minutes. He's been subbed off a lot lately, so you don't want to also don't wrap him in cotton wool. Just I think be smart about how you use him, and I think Ateta has. People are not seeing it. They're thinking that because he played today, Ateta's being reckless. But you look at it, 45 minutes he only played against City. I think he played 60 minutes against Atalanta, and then against Spurs, I think he played about 75. Then because Ethan came on for him then. So he's been managed well as well. And that's what I'm saying. I'm very happy with where we are, considering the injuries we have. And people are negating this. They're mentioning Rodri for City. Key player, don't get me wrong. But Arsenal don't have a star player like a Rodri or Haaland. We depend more on our squad than what City do. So we're going to need all our numbers. We've got Marino that's to come back, Zinchenko, Odegaard, Tomiyasu. You can count in Tierney. Those are just five. Those are 5 players that get in and around the squad. 4 of them are probably starters. You're thinking Odegaard, Marino, Zinchenko, and Tomiyasu all have a bid for starting a place in the team. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I'm very happy with the start so far. I'm happy that we've actually taken the Carabao Cup seriously. That was a good performance. And we just talk about the draw quickly. Away at Preston. Um, which won't be an easy game. Obviously they're a lower league side. They're going to want to impress, but do you think that obviously after if you get through that, you're in the quarterfinals, then do you think it's about Arteta just managing the squad well, but go as strong as you can in the Carabao Cup, or do you think what, let's just focus on the league and we'll get to the cups at another season, or what are your thoughts, bro?
Yeah, I'm glad we got an easy draw. We've had a lot of like top six teams in draws lately in FA Cup and Carabao Cup. So
Mm.
I'm just glad we got an easier draw. Man United, when they won the League Cup 2 years ago, had home games every week of the draw, and every time the draw came out, and they had lower league teams.
Teams, yes,
And
I do, and then they played Newcastle in the final.
yeah, and then only played Newcastle in the final. So it's like that's why that actually was a cup that he won that actually papered over a lot of the cracks.
Mm.
And the same with the FA Cup against City, it's papered over a lot of the cracks. And I think that, yeah, the difference was when we won the FA Cup, I think we played against Chelsea and City in the semis and finals. And then we played someone else, like we played a few other Premier League teams on the way
We
there.
played
So,
Sheffield United. We played Sheffield
yeah,
United, so it wasn't the easiest run. And I think probably the point that you're going to allude to is the luck of the draw. That's what ultimately what it comes down to in cup competitions. Um, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're the best team. You might have just gotten favorable draws, and I think if Arsenal can like fluke themselves to the final in terms of favorable draws, I'll take it. If I
yeah,
find ourselves in a final against City or Liverpool or whoever it is, but even if the road to the final has been relatively easy, then I give us as good as a chance as anyone of winning the competition the further we get. Um, I want to move on to a topic that I think has been taken over social media since Sunday's game. Some are calling us, they're calling Arsenal Hogwarts, saying Ateta is Dumbledore. or Professor, what is his name?
Snake,
Is it
Snake.
Snake? Yes, saying that Ateta is practicing the dark arts. Listen, before I ask your opinion on it, Dane, I think it's just utter rubbish. It's nothing that I've never seen before. I don't get it. I don't get this. It's like Ateta's not reinventing the wheel. Teams faking
Yeah,
injuries, if you want to call it that, gamesmanship. That always happens. That's football. That's literally like you go to the corner flag. Is that dark arts? No. You know what you're doing. You keep it delaying the game. Like it's okay to do that. I think that's just game management. I think it's part of the game, and I feel like with Arsenal and Michael Richards said it perfectly. When it's us, everyone seems to have an opinion, and like everyone is like saying dark arts, and I'm like, what? Are we not fouling anyone? We're not going against the rules. Like Arsenal doing nothing illegal in the game. So just your thoughts, but what do you think on this whole dark arts theme and that Arsenal are perceived to be cheating? 5 games into a
it's a
season
joke.
anyway.
It's an absolute joke, and I think for so long they were mocking Arsenal, saying we're soft and we've got a soft underbelly, and these foreign players don't know how to take tackles. So now we harden up, and now we've got a whole bunch of giants in the team, and we're strong and we're big boys, and now they're scared of us, and now they're all of a sudden flipping the narrative. When Mourinho was doing it, when Conte is doing it, when who else used to do it? So Simeone in
Well,
the when Simeone does it in the La Liga or Champions League, everyone is praising them. No, they've been smart, they've been pragmatic, they've been clever. But when Arsenal does it, it's boring. It's or even just the
cheap.
defensive attitude that we had, where they said no, we're playing like Stoke, and we shouldn't be praising that display. So it's just part of our history. They hate us. So it's we got to be used to it, and we got to know that there's double standards. The same way that other people are not getting yellow cards for kicking the ball away, and only Arsenal players are, is the same way that other people are doing gamesmanship and dark arts and getting praised for it, and getting away with it, and getting praise from the media. So it's a joke. So we're doing our best. We were in survival mode for a lot of those games, and I'm very proud of Arteta for not being like Wenger was, where he was like, no, we will always play a certain way, and that way we will win with. But I like then you got Mourinho, who's on the opposite side of Wenger, who's like, no, we will always play to win and we'll always play ugly. I like that Arteta's a bit of in the middle.
Both.
There's
Yeah.
another stat that he actually like. He can play possession football like Pep. He can play high pressing football like Klopp, and he can play a low block like Mourinho. So he's actually a
Mourinho,
bit
100.
of the best of all of them, and he's able to change according to the game state and the opposition. So I like that. I think obviously the Atalanta game wasn't pretty. It was a tough game. So we've had a tough start to the season. We had 3 tough away games. We did our best. But now that we're at home and now that we're playing lower league teams, we're gonna be putting the goals in. I'm sure.
100%. I also think, when it comes back to this whole thing, I think a lot of people forget, and it's like so funny. Arsenal's most famous chant is 1-0 to the Arsenal. Now, what do you think that was based off? You thought it was based off like you guys just missing all the time? No, it was based off Arsenal having a sturdy defense. Someone said that Wenger was the anomaly. Like, George Graham was all about defense, um, and being sturdy. Wenger was the one that brought a beautiful football. And people think on the modern Arsenal, yes. But is this the first time in Arsenal's history that Arsenal are really good defensively? No. You know what I'm saying? So I think, like you said, perfect. I think Ateta, and then people are not going to give him credit for it because he's not winning anything apparently. But besides Pep, he's the best manager in the league. Like it's without a doubt. Without a
Yeah.
doubt, Ateta is the best manager bar Pep in the league.
Yeah, when
You, you
Klopp
can
was
you can
there,
argue.
Klopp was better. Klopp was better than Arteta, but definitely now that Klopp has left, he's
Look, I think as time went on, Ateta wasn't that big of a gap. I mean, Liverpool. I think we're unbeaten against Liverpool in our last 4 games. And we haven't played. We haven't played Slot yet. So I'm not saying that a club is not a better manager than Arteta. I'm not saying that all before people in the comment section or whatever say that I'm saying Arteta is better than Klopp. What I'm saying is Arteta as a manager, he is much more of a chameleon than his his mentor in Pep and maybe the other people, other managers he's compared to. Like you said, in terms of game state, we can win 5-1 yesterday, but then stink out a clean sheet against Spurs in a sense, or a low block against City, and look comfortable doing it both. Like we looked excellent yesterday, and we looked excellent against City in the defensive shape. And listen, ultimately, like I said in one of the other pods, I don't care what people think. I don't care if we win one or to the end of the season. Like if I want us to be successful, I want my manager to do what's best for the team. We're not in the business of entertaining other fans. Because when Arsenal are entertaining and we're losing, then it's you guys just play good football, but you don't win anything. Now we're
Yeah,
trying to be a bit more streetwise and savvy, and it's like, you guys don't have any ambition. So damned if you do, damned if you don't. I think as Arsenal
damn
fans,
if
I
you
think
do,
this is the
damn if you don't.
perfect this is the perfect scenario. I want all this hate on us because it's only going to unite us as fans, which is going to end up uniting us behind the team. So long may it continue. I hope the headlines continue. I hope the Arteta, they say he's doing this. I hope they put the pressure on him because I think externally the Arsenal, and the way Arteta uses it, I think any sort of adversity he uses in his favor. When it was the Ivan Tony tweet, having it there, just little reminders to the boys to be like, you know what, this is what they think of us. They
Yeah.
they 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 don't they everyone's against us. So let's show them what we're capable of doing. Um, but yeah, look, I think, like I said, I think that covers the dark arts, and I think it's the
But
perfect
did you
caveat to
see?
just
Sorry, just
yes, bro.
one more point on that. Did you see what he said when they asked him about that? He said, "I was at City for 4 years. I learned
I
certain
know.
things from." Yeah,
Come on, bro. Yeah,
it was
let's not
brilliant.
let's not pretend. Let's not pretend as if City as champions are not street smart and game smart. Like City are. You know, let's not forget Bernardo Silva's penalty that he won against us couple seasons ago at the Emirates when we that early kickoff. I'll never forget. That was the game that I got behind Arteta. I was like, okay, I can see the vision. I see it. Even though we lost, but I think we rattled City. That's another thing is that people don't, like you said, we were so always seen as this small diminutive team under Wenger with these nice fancy players, and now you look at our backline. Arteta's built a backline of just centre backs, bro. We have no actual out and out fullbacks besides Zinchenko. Every fullback is a centre back. Do you get what I'm
Yeah,
saying? You're looking at midfield, you're getting monsters like Rice, Marino. Look up front at Havertz, Saka. Saka is no soft guy. Saka is super strong. His whole up play is excellent. He's never shies out of 50-50s. We're a physical team, and I think people just they can't comprehend that this is Arsenal.
yeah,
The issue today in what I'm seeing is that people can't. They're not moving with the times. They think of Arsenal, they think of Arsene Wenger, and that's it. Good or bad. They don't
yeah.
see
They
that
put
we
us in
we
a box. They've put us in a
100%, bro.
box, and Arteta's he's not a box type manager. He spent most of his time under David Moyes, so he learned pragmatism from David Moyes. Then
Mm,
he spent time in Rangers, and in Rangers, obviously they were like the one of the better teams. Then he had La Masia kind of graduation, and he was also from the Basque country. So he's had a very varied kind of influence. Then obviously being at Everton for a while, and then being at Arsenal. Yeah,
yeah,
so
100%.
he's seen Wenger's strengths and Wenger's weaknesses, and I think that's
Mm,
why he's so adamant to build a more physical team and a team that competes from corners because we used to hardly score any goals from corners, and now we've got the most in the
100%.
league. So
Set pieces used to
it's
be our
so
weakness.
yeah, our weakness. He's turned our weaknesses into our strengths.
100%, bro. And that's why, like, I think, again, like I said to you, it's all hate. Like from Arteta, like towards Arteta, towards Arsenal, it's pure hate and jealousy, and I'm cool with it. Because like I said, I think it'll just galvanize us as fans and as a club. Looking forward, Dane. Obviously, that's covered the past week or so's events. We've got another game this Saturday at the Emirates, 4 p.m. kickoff against Leicester City. Um, you said you're going to be in Soweto this weekend, eh?
Yeah, I might be at just still planning with some of the guys to go
Okay.
that side. So yeah, I might be there or I might be at Bedfordview. So I'm still thinking about it and just seeing who's available. But either way,
Okay.
it's just going to be a good game. I'm looking forward to it. I think we're really going to play free flowing football. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and look, like I said, if you're going into Leicester, I had Leicester's results here over the past, like for the start of the season. They've not won a game; they've drawn two, and I think they've lost two. Let me just double check this quickly. Um, obviously they're not the Leicester that won the league all those years ago. They're not. So the Leicester
Yeah,
currently are 5 games played, 3 draws, 2 wins. Obviously still have Jamie Vardy. Have a few threats there, but do you think there should be a routine win for Arsenal? Is this something that you think, you know what, guys, let's try kill the game off as quickly as possible so we can rest some players because we've got PSG on Tuesday as well. Um, or do you think, you know what, we might be in for a much more of a tricky game against the Foxes on Saturday?
Yeah, I think when they were under Maresca, they were playing possession based. Sorry, they're playing
No problem,
possession
bro.
based football. So they have changed because Steve Cooper plays more defensively and more. They're probably gonna set up a low block against us. So it's it's gonna be breaking that down, and that's why we're gonna need Partey's progressive passing. We're gonna need Ethan to come on probably and provide. If we are lacking in goals, he's passing, progressive passing, and he's dribbling. We don't have a lot of players that dribble. Well, I'd say
That can
Trossard
trouble,
is one, and I'd actually like to see Trossard start at 10 and Havertz play centre forward so that we can also go put long balls into their low block and kind of break it up from the middle.
eh? No, I think I agree with that. Look, like you said in the beginning of the part, I wouldn't be upset if Arteta started Nwaneri because you know what you expect from Leicester. You know, especially you know what to expect from Leicester, coached by Steve Cooper. You know, what he did with Forest. You know, Forest were really good on the counter. They were well organized, so I expect Leicester to be well organized on Saturday. I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park like a lot of fans are thinking it is going to be. But I do think the earlier we score, the more it'll settle the nerves because obviously the longer it goes, the more tense it becomes. You know, there's always that thought, okay, are we going to break through? Are we going to struggle to break this another team down? So I think an early goal on Saturday settles the nerves. I think if we score a goal in the first 15, 20 minutes, I think we walk that game 3-4-0, in my opinion. I think the longer it goes on, the more tricky it gets. And then we obviously might have to rely on our set pieces, which I think is a real Arsenal in our Arsenal. You know what I'm saying? Is like the fact that you have someone like Saka who has gotten 5 assists in 5 games, and you look, they're not all from dead balls, but 2 games in a row we've gotten goals from his corners. I think it's gonna be vitally important to continue to use that strength that we have. You know, um, and I'm keen to really see if we can really have the answers within the squad without Odegaard to unlock a low block because as you see in the season when we've come up against the likes of Wolves, it wasn't that pretty. Okay, Wolves only in particular, but we've struggled a lot last season as well breaking down low blocks. So I'm like I said, I'm not expecting the bigger score line if I'm just going off my gut feeling. But obviously, like I think if the game goes the way I would like it to go, after getting an early goal, then I do see us getting a comprehensive victory. Let's talk some team news, bro. Um, there's obviously rumors that David Raya is a a slight doubt for the game. Obviously, after picking up some sort of thigh injury against City, we hope there's nothing too serious because I think he's been literally our best player this season, and not in a sense
Yeah,
that our Arsenal conceding so many shots. It's just that if you're asking me who has improved from last season and who's like really like wowing me, it's David Raya. Like he's taken
yeah,
another level in terms of composure and authority. Like it's like whoa, okay, this guy is like Ramsdale was holding him back from him being 100% certain. It's like he was maybe like 85%, 80% sure of his position. Now that he's 100% guaranteed that he's a starter, you can just see that this guy is like he's commanding. He's giving me Allison vibes. That good shot stopper, commands his box, good at his feet.
yeah.
Um, so Ash, obviously, what in terms of what you'd like to see Arteta do on Saturday, would you like for him to maybe give the team that went out against City another run? 11 men now again and see what they can do, or do you think the players that performed well yesterday, some of them deserve to come in?
Yeah, I think Calafiori must definitely play. I think he's had 2 good games in a row. Timber sounds like he's an injury warrior. I'm actually just trying to check what the latest is with injuries. Zinchenko's still out, so he would be someone that would normally break down a low block.
Mhm.
So yeah, let's see how it goes. I think Neto will probably play, but he was cup tied. That's why he didn't play. If Raya's injured, then Neto will at least play. So at least we've got an experienced goalkeeper that can come in. He's played for Barcelona. He's
100%.
played for Juventus, I think.
I think so. Yes, I think it was you. Think it definitely was Juve.
Yeah. So like I'm not too worried about him. Obviously, it's a big miss, Raya, because you're right. He's been our best player of the season so far. So it's going to be tough, but I think Timber's going to be a big miss, but I think obviously Gabriel and Saliba, and I'm glad that they rested White. So maybe White will play, and then but White is also a bit of a dart. So once I've got the injury kind of list up here, then we can
Yeah, I'm
look.
seeing that now too.
Yeah, let's just see. And
Yeah,
then
I've
in
got it
terms of
here as well.
midfield,
It seems, it's saying,
yeah, have you got it?
yeah, so it's basically saying, yeah, from, okay, so obviously, we know that Miko Marino, Martin Odegaard, Alexander Zinchenko, and Takahiro Tomiyasu, they are definitely ruled out. Then obviously Trossard is returned, obviously after his suspension. And then it says Ben White here, knee injury, um, currently being assessed, 50% availability, like or possibility of playing. It says David Raya, thigh injury, 75% chance of playing. And obviously they haven't updated Miles Lewis Skelly's one yet. Look, I think having Trossard back as well helps. Having Raya, I think just to continue to have that back four available. And there's nothing on Timber here, so I'm hoping that he's was just literally cramp and they just managed his minutes over yesterday, just to obviously still ease him back. Timber hasn't played much football in the past year, so the
Yeah.
intensity which you've had to play the last couple of games has been a lot on his body. If you think about it, he's went an international break. He's played in the North London derby, played against Atalanta, played against City. I think maybe it's just precaution. I think even if he doesn't start on Saturday, I'm okay. I think if, it would be
Yeah,
good to be able to
maybe
rotate maybe him
yeah,
with
maybe
White again.
Timber and White can play a half each or 60 or
You
55
know what I'm
minutes,
saying, bro?
35. Yeah.
And then you could even have it, for example, you could even throw in Kivio to assist in a certain way. Maybe I know don't people don't like Thomas Partey at right back, but if it's gonna have to come to that, then Arteta will do what he needs to do. Um, so like I said, are you looking to give the guys that played against City on the weekend another go? Do you think like guys like Martinelli, which has obviously been someone that's been under a lot of pressure and scrutiny from our fan base, do you think maybe this could be the game? And we say this almost every game weekend. Do you think that this can be the game week where maybe Martinelli finds a bit of form, finds the back of the net, or do you think what, give Sterling the chance? He's played well, he's gotten his goal, got an assist, and or do you bring Trossard in on that left hand side, for example?
I think it's tricky. I think we normally know that Martinelli, we want to play against Haaland's more transitional teams, whereas Leicester was going to play a low block. So I don't know if Martinelli suits the game. I actually, it's a interesting one. Like I'm one of the pro Martinelli centrally more than so like just as an option. So that's another thing that I've been thinking about, maybe. But I think because of Sterling's performance against Bolton, I would play him rather. And his dribbling, he might be able to break down a low block and put Trossard at 10 and have it at centre forward. So Saka. So let's go through the team. So I'd play if Raya's injured, I'd play Neto. And then I'd play Calafiori. Then I'd play Gabriel, um, Saliba, and White slash Timber. So half half, or maybe a half each if they're both carrying a slight knock. Just give them like 45 minutes each. Then I'd
Mm.
play Party just because Jorginho's been playing more lately. And then I would play Rice and Trossard. So I'd actually play a double pivot with Rice and Party. Actually,
And
no, I
then
wouldn't
Trossard in the
because they're going
ten.
to be a low block. They're going to be a low block, so it's fine. So Rice can drive at them, and then Trossard can do the dribbling and do some of his passes because he's the one who put Martinelli through for that one-on-one against Spurs.
Mm.
So he's got that pass in his locker, and I like Trossard's dribbling. And then I would play. I'd actually play Sterling at left wing, Havertz at center forward, and Saka at right wing. So I would I would bring
Drop
Martinelli on.
Martinelli.
Yeah, yeah. Even though he got
It's
the assist, I just think it's like he actually suited playing against City, suited playing against Villa, suited playing against Spurs. But
with the
low
space in
blocks
behind.
at home, yeah, I think he's going to be frustrated against a low block.
I think so too, and I think Sterling is actually the perfect option on that left wing. I don't know how I feel about Trossard in the ten. I look, Trossard is a technical player, but if you're honestly asking me, I would start Ethan. I would
Okay.
start Ethan in this game. I don't. I know people think it's a bit like, oh, but he just had a good game against Bolton. Like, don't Trossard is a more experienced player. I get it, But in terms of a low block, right, I just think that Ethan is a midfielder, if I'm making any sense. Trossard is a forward in terms of the creativity aspect from a bit deeper. I don't think he's got the same quality as Nwaneri has as an actual centre midfielder, you know? Um,
Yeah,
so I would go with Ethan in the 10 and find himself in the half spaces like Odegaard would. Um, I'll probably go the same backline as you, but I'm expecting Raya to be back, so I'm going to go Raya. I'm going to go White, Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori, Party, Rice, Nwaneri, Saka, Havertz, and I'm going to go Sterling. I think I'm going to bring the two boys in that performed well yesterday, purely because I think
okay.
they will suit this game. We played again. Like, okay, Bolton tried to play out the back, but at the same time they also did sit back, not necessarily in the deepest block, and not it wasn't like they weren't trying to play. Excuse me. But I think if you look at what Sterling was able to do in terms of his one-on-one dribbling ability and how he can stop, start, and the speed he still has, that's what still surprised me about Sterling is that he's still rapid. You'd think that as he gets older, he's gonna be
Yeah,
slower. People are gonna catch him out, but he's still got that 0 to 60 in a sense speed. Where he can from being flat-footed in a sense quickly get past the defender, and we're gonna need that. We're gonna need that quick interplay. I would even maybe if I'm not gonna play Sterling on the left, I might play Jesus. People say he never a good game, but I think against a low block, you're gonna need that kind of player in the spaces like Jesus who can draw players out. Who can draw fouls, who can that kind of thing. I don't think like you say, don't Martinelli would be my last option because he's not gonna give you what the others can in terms of a technical ability. I think left wing wise, I'm gonna go Sterling. Trossard, Jesus, Martinelli. That would be my options for the left wing. If I'm being completely honest with you, because I just think that you look at Martinelli, he struggles really, and it's weird, man. Because it's like when he came to the club, he was so good on a one-on-one dribble. He was able to like beat players. Now it just seems like he's got no idea of like it's almost like he's a robot. If I'm making any sense, like
yeah.
he plays very
No, he's
robotically.
lost confidence. He's definitely lost confidence. I think he didn't know what to do when Trossard started to play so well and get goals and um, yeah, because Trossard actually got 8 goals from starts last season and
Last
four
season, eh?
from the bench. Yeah, 4 from the bench. So it's quite interesting. I mean, so you wouldn't, even though you're playing Ethan, you wouldn't play Trossard at left wing. You'd rather play Sterling.
Yeah, I don't know. Trossard, bro, like Trossard is a very weird player for me. It's like I never know when to play him because I don't know what Trossard I'm gonna get. I don't know. Trossard can come and score a hat trick on Saturday, and then I'll be like, oh shit. But he can also come and like really be stifled. And when Trossard has a stinker, Trossard has a stinker, bro. Like when Trossard's not having a good game, bro, he is not having a good game. So the reason why I think I said like I bring Sterling in, his confidence will be up. Um, and like I said, what I saw from him yesterday, in terms of how he was able to draw players to him, always had two players around him. He was still able to beat them with that pace. I just think it's going to be so vital when you're trying to play in between the lines against a low block like Leicester will most likely set up with. Um, you're going to need those players. I think Trossard and Martinelli would be two good players, and Jesus Azzo would be. I mean, you could rotate the entire front three if it's not working at 65, 70 minutes. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? So it's
yeah,
not that I don't think that me saying I want to start one over the other means that I don't like one player. I just think that we're so blessed with options that it's great to have this kind of issue. It's like, who do you start? Why
yeah,
do you want to start him? It's not where it's like when we used to have Alexis Sanchez. Like, if this guy's out, we have no ideas.
yeah,
Look in terms of Leicester, I think their obvious threat is Jamie Vardy still at this age, and I don't want to be arrogant. I just think that he's not going to come up against Per Mertesacker and Koscielny and your Mustafis, who are not quick and also not physical and don't really like the battle like that. He's going to come up against the best centre back pairing in the league, even maybe some will say the
yeah,
world, in City and Gabriel. And I think both players have pace. I mean, you got Calafiori that can sweep up. He's also got good pace. Timber's got good pace. So I don't see Leicester posing a threat as they maybe once would. I'm keen to hear your thoughts, bro. Do you think maybe we should still be wary of
yeah.
them, or do you think, like I said, this is Arsenal? This is Arsenal putting
Look, I think
gold dust on the board.
Ndidi's got a few assists, if I remember correctly. So it's quite interesting because I think he used to play more like a box to
Like
box,
a hold.
and now
Mm.
with not Ward
Steve
Price,
Cooper,
what's the other guy's name who left to Chelsea? Um,
Dewsbury Hall.
Shrewsbury Hall, yeah. So he was playing 10 and he was doing very well. So they thought they were going to miss him, but indeed he's actually played there and he's doing well.
Mm.
So it's interesting. I think we're going to win 3-0. I think it'll be a comfortable win. I don't think we're going to kill them like we did with Bolton, but I think a good 3-0 victory would be good. And I think we'll have some moments of squeaky bum time and we'll maybe be one up and they'll be countering us and attacking us.
Mm.
They'll have their moments and we'll be pulling off. This season we've been pulling off defensive blocks and Raya saving us. So it's like I'm not saying those moments won't be there, but I still think we'll ride the storm and we'll come out on top. And our strengths are strong enough to get us through. In terms of the comment that just came through now about rotation, I
Yeah.
think yeah, I think it's an interesting one. I think we rotated for the cup, so I think the team will be fresh. So some of the guys will be fresh, and as you said, Saka only played 45 minutes against City. Rice didn't play
Mm.
against Spurs, so he'll also be fresh. So I think it's fine. And Arteta said he isn't going to rotate that much in the beginning of the season, so it means
I
that it's
think so. I
coming at the end of the season. Yeah,
And I think in terms of rotation, I think the only reason I'm okay with the rotation because it still is early in the season. You still need to find certain patterns. You might need to see who's gelling with who. I don't want to see rotation, in my opinion, actually at the end of the season because it's like that means that maybe we're not too sure of what we're doing. At the end of the season, you should be like, okay, you kind of consolidating. You know what I'm saying? You may be making small tweaks. Now, especially
yeah,
with all the games, the group stages and that kind of stuff, this is the perfect time to rotate. Giving Ben White a full night off, giving Timber a full night off. You know what I'm saying? Saliba the full night off. Um, those kind of games are actually and those kind of things are very important. I think for our players this season, especially because of the prolonged Champions League, obviously being in the Carabao Cup, international break, those kind of things. And I'm okay with rotation for now because I think we're at the stage of the season where it's still okay. I don't want to see us in April, March, April, May. Arteta's now trying to look at and rotate and he's not too sure. No, if you're unsure about things, be unsure now. Because again, like
yeah,
even if we had beaten City on Sunday, it doesn't mean we win the league. So nothing is guaranteed or finished in September. So if you experiment and we maybe squeaky bum a game, 1-0 here, 1-0 there, it's okay. As long as you seeing things, you're trying to change things. I don't want that to happen at the end of the season. I want us to finish the season assuredly. You know what I'm saying? If it doesn't mean if it means we don't win the league, cool. But I need to know that okay, still the direction is here. I don't want it to be like okay, you suddenly pivoting and you're starting to experiment and now you're nervous and now we don't know what to expect. No, I think as the season goes on, Arteta needs to find his strongest team in terms of certain patterns of play. So when he has a low block in front of him, he knows what players to start. When he's got space, he knows what players to start. We shouldn't be sitting here headaching it. Oh, who do you think? Why do you?
yeah,
Who's it? Nah, no. We need to get that level where City. With City, there's about okay. Pep does make changes, but if you had to go for your standard players for City, there's about five, six, seven players that are guaranteed starters every game, and we need to get to that point as always. Not there's no debates. I think we're slowly
yeah,
getting there because I mean Raya, you probably have the two centre backs, Saka, Odegaard if they fit, and then Rice. So it's about five, six players. So
yeah.
we need to up those numbers a bit. Um, Obviously, I saw you gave your score prediction. You said 3-0. Um, do you think that obviously we're going to come to the end of the show quite soon? Do you think that the next couple of games for Arsenal is a good opportunity for us to build momentum going into like maybe the next international break? And with so many home games, do you expect Arsenal to put some good points and some good goals up on the board, or do you think what, let's just take it game by game and see where we are come the next international break?
Yeah, I think we've got to take it game by game. I think we can build momentum as we're playing PSG next. So I think if we can get a good victory this weekend, a good 3-0, like I said, I'm not just, I think it will happen, but I also think that it will build momentum to play against PSG because PSG is really going to be tough. I think everyone is writing them off and saying that, they're without Mbappe, they were a one man team and all of that. But sometimes teams can play better when someone who was the focal point of the team leaves. So everyone said that Spurs were going to be terrible last year when Kane left, and then they played well and they were top of the log after 10 games. So
Mm.
I think it's like it's interesting. The PSG game is going to be tough, and then we've got a few other easier fixtures, and then we've got I think Newcastle and Liverpool. So Liverpool first, then Newcastle at the end of October. So we're not out of the woods with the difficult fixtures, so we do need to build momentum in these easier fixtures. So I think it'll be key, yeah, especially with Odegaard out. Like Odegaard will probably come back for the Liverpool game, maybe the Newcastle game. So Marino might be back for those games as well, and his former team was Newcastle. So it's always nice to play against your former team.
Mm.
So let's see.
No, 100%, bro, and I think I have to agree with that. I think PSG is going to be a game that obviously, if you're looking over the next 5 games, just for example, that's the biggest game. It is at home, and obviously, I think as being the first Champions League game at home in this new format, I think the Emirates is going to be rocking. But I think let's not get ahead of ourselves too much. I think let's focus on Leicester. Let's focus on the job at hand. And I think the job at hand is giving Leicester their due respect, but at the same time, knowing that we're better and flexing on them in a sense where I want to see us 2-0 up by halftime. That's not an arrogant me. I'm not speaking that arrogantly. I'm saying like that's the levels that I think we're at now, where I can say I think Arsenal can score 2 goals against Leicester and not concede in the first 45 minutes because we are just a much better team than them. So look, score prediction from you, Dan. I think you said 3-0. Is that what you're gonna stick with?
Yeah, I'll stick with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go 4-1. I don't know why I think we're gonna concede. I think we might concede a stupid sloppy goal, which would actually annoy me really. Um, but I think it's good that I think obviously we're both predicting 3 points. Guys, in the comment section, let us know what your prediction is for the game against Leicester on Saturday. Let us also know what your predicted 11 will be. Would you bring in Ethan Nwaneri for his Premier League debut for Arsenal? Would you bring in Raheem Sterling for his Premier League debut in terms of a starter for Arsenal? Or do you continue to give Gabriel Martinelli a chance and stick with the same 11? As always, guys, we are now coming to the end of our show. It hasn't been the longest one. Obviously, it's just been myself and Dane. I'm not going to try to keep him here too late. It is a Thursday. Obviously, we still have a whole Friday to get through tomorrow. Dane, as always, my brother, it's been an honor to have you on the platform. We'll definitely have you on soon again. Everybody in the comment section that's obviously joined in, we really thank you guys for supporting the channel. In your interactions do mean a lot. Let's continue to grow this community. Dane, where can people catch you this weekend, possibly watching the games if they want to come through and maybe get to experience some of the Arsenal culture that we have here in Gauteng?
Yeah, there's games happening at Bossa Bedford View. There's Coppers in. So I might be at Bossa Bedford View. There's Coppers in Broadacres. Then there's Phoenix in Randburg, and Soweto is also going to be hosting this weekend. So I'm probably going to be going through to Soweto. I might go to Vilakazi Street before that for some grub. So yeah, I'm gonna be probably doing that, and then George will be hosting at Bossa. So yeah, that's gonna be the plans for this week. And then there's also Encore in Pretoria if there's any Pretoria gunners watching.
100%, 100%. And then obviously, Dane, we've got a big game on Tuesday with the Champions League against PSG. I'm sure, are you going to be at Barca and Bedford View? Or is
Yeah,
that correct? 100%,
yeah.
guys. So obviously, if you want to get in touch with Dane and some of the other gunners that we have in the city, if you or like Dane is saying, if you even if you as far as Pretoria, then do check out those locations, guys. Come through. Let's get in our numbers. Let's get behind the boys. Let's start off with a good performance this weekend and get through the game against Leicester, and then let's take that energy into the PSG game. As always, everybody, from myself, Shannon here at the Gunners Voice, it's good to be a Gooner.
Peace, guys.